Well, good evening everyone. Welcome back to another stream to be Overthunk by Sharky. Back with some more Jaffa Factory and with a bit more of the loud menu music. Is it just me or is the Minecraft menu music? It's gotten a bit softer now, but before it sounded particularly louder than it normally is. Good evening in the chat there, Katooth. Thanks for tuning in. We'll get ourselves underway. Don't look too closely at that other world there. I'm going to pop into the Jaffa Factory. I've done something that I don't often do. I've done a bit of off-camera research. I don't like necessarily making quote-unquote progress off-camera. So in an effort to make no progress, but at the same time to try and be at least a little bit more efficient with our time here together, because it is episode 14 now of this Jaffa Factory series here, and you may notice a distinct lack of Jaffa Factory up to this point, or even Jaffas, or even ingredients required to make Jaffas. We're doing a lot of incremental progress, kind of in a Jaffa Factory positive direction, right? Like we're heading somewhere, but to this point, there's been a lot of windmills and turbines and power poles and emus. Look at those guys jumping away. And can we see it? We can't. Pokey hands. We can't quite see the pokey hand. It's in there. It's in there somewhere. Yes, there's been a lot of stuff going on here, but not a lot in the way of actual like getting a Jaffa Factory up and running. But hopefully, we'll see how we go tonight. Hopefully, we will make some actual active progress onto some portion of the beginnings of a Jaffa Factory. That is a giant box, building enclosure and casement to house what will be the production of the Jaffas. Thinking this through, so I'd sort of started to mark out some things and spoke about things last time and sort of the plan for what this is going to look like. I've been experimenting with block palettes. So that creative test world that you were verboten from looking at was just a place where I could try out different types of blocks and colors of blocks and styles of blocks and sort of get it, like I was doing with the roads when we were designing the road system, and how it took literally, 2 separate 3 to 4 hour streams to come up with and begin duplicating the design for the roads and the poles and things like that. I don't necessarily want every episode of every stream to just be planning and thumbing through the menu of blocks. So I did a little bit of that off camera, and I've come up with a block palette design of what certain parts of a hypothetical Jaffa Factory might look like. And so the agenda for tonight is to start preparing a bit of landscape, ready for that, start preparing materials needed to get those kinds of blocks, and then start actually laying some of those blocks down and seeing what happens. One of the things that did come out of that investigation of mapping out blocks in Jaffa Factory is a discovery that this L shape here that I had initially imagined as being the Jaffa Factory, this kind of L shape here, is woefully thin in terms of a chunk. We're used to kind of being spread out like this in the sort of sizes of chunks we are. Well, imagine like one of these kind of little chunks, like we've gotten used to counting like 10 by 10 sort of squares like that within there. You've got your 16, take off 2 for the borders is 14, take off 2 for the grass is 12. And then if you've got just like this 10 by 10 enclosure, and if you've got walls that are going up on that first and 10th thing, you've only really got 8 squares of actual walking space inside. And if you're looking at a long L shape like that, that is incredibly narrow. That's a narrow corridor. You're not going to fit much in the way of machinery and things and comfortable walking. So what I'm thinking is we still keep this narrow bit here, but this back bit might need to be 2 tiles deep. It'll be 2 chunks deep, and through there. Now that is unfortunately going to begin disturbing this guy. I was hoping with the layout of this that we could kind of have a flush edge back here and stop right short of this guy's place, but we might just have to ever so slightly nudge up to him, and we might have a bit of fun with his place or something, but we'll see. We're gonna have to figure that out, because that's gonna be awkward. So we're gonna have to get that sorted, get that sort of mapped out, and go from there. So what we might do initially is we might bookmark a bunch of the blocks we're going to need. So let me look up all the things that I was looking up. We're looking at white, brass, wrapped, loco metal. There it is. White, brass, wrapped, loco metal. That is part of the external walls, and we are gonna bookmark that. If I just go bam, there we go, there's a hotkey, and oh, you guys can't see that over here. It's underneath my logo. Well, I'm not moving it. I'm not moving the overlay. You can just imagine underneath there is a whole bookmarked section up here, so I can bookmark that recipe for later to remind me that that's something we need to do. So we've got white brass wrapped loco metal. We also need white iron wrapped loco metal. This one as well. Very similar kind of color scheme, but a slightly different trim on there. Within that, we're going to need a couple of colors of concrete for highlights on the external walls, specifically smooth light blue concrete. That one from Chipped, smooth light blue concrete, which we do in a mason's workbench from just regular light blue concrete, which we do from making light blue concrete powder. So that guy is a block we're keeping, and if we've got orange ones, we're going to, no, sorry, spoiler, if we've got light blue ones, we're going to need orange ones as well. Same dealio. So bookmark those. Not that we need to, but I'm going to bookmark flint block, which we've already got millions of because they are just the compressed version of flint. So we're going to use some of those deliberately so. And similarly, flint tiles, which is the one next to it, which is just to put 4 flint blocks together to make flint tiles. Just breaks up the texture a little bit. This is going to be the floor. The internal floor is going to be flint blocks and flint tiles. That's kind of like a sort of a polished internal floor. Oh, there you go. You can start to see the blocks coming across now into the bookmark just beside the overlay there. So we're going to need those. And all the things that are needed for that, those kinds of things, sand and gravel and whatnot. We need some copycat blocks, which I know is not a sophisticated thing, but I'll just mark them down so we don't forget to get a heap of them. We need copycat stairs, and we need copycat wall. Where's wall? There, copycat wall for some of the external bits as well. And we need a bunch of lights and lamps and things like internal light sources. And I found that there are some really nice ones in Project Red. There's a mod, Project Red. Adds a bunch of things, but it also adds like lamps and lights and these nice things. You get like little colored lights, or lights in cages, or tall lights in cages, or like little lamps or things like that. There's also heaps and heaps of redstone stuff in here, hence the name of the mod, Project Red. So I might just bookmark like a red and orange lamp from here, and by red and orange I mean light blue and orange, just to remind me that these are things. How do I unbookmark? How does one remove a bookmark? That's the next question now. Now that it's over here, do I... Yeah, I just press it again over there to unbookmark it. Right. Perfect. Okay. So bookmark blue, bookmark orange. There we go. Orange goes over to the next line. That's fine. Okay, so that sort of thing. Other kinds of blocks I'm going to need. Apologies for the logo there, for the overlay, but we'll get that sorted. So, with all that in mind, let's just have a quick check-in on everything. We should have millions of iron in here by this point. 1.5k. That's good. We're going to need millions of iron for everything that we're going to be making. So that is just a hard necessity. So that's coming along nicely. All our plants and things are doing their stuff. We're going to need some other types of plants and flowers in due course. Old milkmate is doing good, getting awkwardly poked with a hand with nothing in it. So you can just stay there as our proof of concept for now. And one day something will happen with you. We are getting loads of resources. Yes, these blocks of flint there. That's just our infinite reserves of flint. So they're going along nicely. This thing, whoops. Oh wow, how did we do that? This thing. This stone generator. 5,000, 5,000, 3,000, and a 15,000. It's okay, we're going to use a ton of cobblestone. Well, not a ton actually, we're going to use a decent bit of cobblestone in the making of that concrete. So, we got that on the go. And these guys. Now, emus, all happy to see me. Never reviewed that footage that I said about reviewing to find out how it is that zombies appeared out of thin air. We're getting, yeah, having me, that is 33 emu eggs. So we're getting them. They're nice. These guys are just hanging out here. You're just here purely aesthetically. You don't actually do anything yet. So you're fine. I did also realize that as we extend further this way, we're going to slowly get out of range of this, where is it? This mega torch sitting here that's stopping mobs from spawning. So at some point, as we get into the Jaffa factory proper, we're going to need another mega torch over here to get that sorted. And of course, it's heading to nighttime already. Let's just have a nap. No, we can't. It's not quite nighttime yet. Now it is. Have a bit of a nap here and get ourselves prepped and underway. So, I think let's start with a bit of the boring stuff. Let's start with a bit of terrain clearing, and then we'll look into some block creation things. If I just pop up the jetpack, just to kind of see sort of what the damage is. So this is our entry to the factory. This is that first sort of layer of the factory. So in this narrow strip here, these guys are still button heads in here. But this is going to have to go back a second chunk now. So going back into this second chunk now starts to encroach into this cave here. Now starts to take out this little bit of lower farm here. And we run right up. Oh, that's neat, isn't it? We run right up to the edge of here. Literally his fence and stuff. You know, this is as tight as it gets. We actually managed to demolish none of the house. His house technically remains within the chunk. Actually, we've got to take that flapper off. That there. That trapdoor. That's our chunk, mate. Unfortunately. Actually, it's probably fine, because we're going to be down at ground level. So we could have let that overhang, honestly. We'll let you have that trapdoor. But yeah, that lower farm, sorry. At least the front half of it, which also includes the water, which I guess therefore means the back half of it, does need to go. So that's fine. That's fine. We'll map that out. So we're going to need to destroy a ton of landscape. We need to rebuild the ground. So half of this dirt needs to drop, which is good. We'll get that dirt. And we'll map out a bit of a plan. What have we got? We've got the building gadget, which is surely ready for us to put down a bunch of dirt. So if we map out a little bit of what's going on here, we need this elevation to sort of carry through. So at least managing chunk at a time for now. We've got to have this sort of thing. Where are we at? So that's one down, that's two down, that's one up. So it's this one. It's this height. Yeah, is the kind of height that we need to be getting to. And at that level there. So that's where things need to be trimmed back to. So all we've got to do is just sort of cut this edge clean, and then we can vein mine everything out of there. Yeah, we are up one, I thought. Yes. Okay, so we'll just trim along here. Do a bit of mindless digging, start things off. Get some of this broken down. At some point, and you know, I don't know when that's going to happen, but at some point, we can always look at like getting better tools and enchanting and all that kind of stuff to sort of. We're just working with like the fact that we have infinite iron, and so we're just making ourselves replacement iron tools constantly. But there's sort of no reason why we couldn't be specking into like diamond tools and putting mending on them and things like that, and just having tools with efficiency and all that kind of stuff. Maybe that's what we should be like getting before doing all of this for faster digging. Like that would make some smart sense in a way. To get all this done quicker. So there's a world in which that could be happening at some point. Kind of getting our tools and things improved, because again there are modded things that we can use to kind of help that along. In the old-fashioned vanilla style of things, as I've done many times on Minecraft previously, it would be attempt to steal a bunch of villages and wrangle up, you know, your own village hall and trade them up and get millions of librarians to get all the different enchanting books and these kinds of things. Well, modern Minecraft makes that a thing of the past, effectively. Aside from the fact that we've got those villages in a box, you know, the easy piglins and all that kind of stuff, that means that we can just take care of that sort of stuff as we need it. And there goes the pick. Look at that. As we were saying. Which means we've got to try and get back now. Now that we've dug a hole through the landscape. You know, that all gets a lot easier with modded things. So, you know, it's not the full process. Good evening, Addy. Welcome back. What do we want? We want... Let's just make 2 of them. 2 more iron picks. Another one. There we go. That way when one breaks, we've at least got another one. We're currently just doing a bit of terrain clearing, so that we can start to get ourselves set for actual Jaffa factory progress, like actual let's build a Jaffa factory kind of stuff. So I'm just sort of demarcating a zone here so that I can kind of cleanly separate the landscape, and we can just vein mine a bunch of stuff. That tree can be dealt with after the fact. I'm doing well, thanks, Addy. Thanks for asking. Hope everything's doing well for you this week. Hope everyone's had a good Easter long weekend as well. I don't know what things are like in different parts of the world in this regard, but we've had a long working weekend here in Australia. Friday off for the Good Friday holiday, and then Monday off for Easter Monday, and my place of work actually has the Tuesday off as well, as a staff concession day. So I'm not actually back to work until Wednesday, which feels like a real sort of half holiday. Yeah, so that edge of that chunk is where this is sort of all the way going up to, isn't it? Yeah. So yeah, we can actually just trim all of that, really. Let's just do that. Yes, exactly. The that ancient and traditional holiday of Easter Tuesday. Alright. Let's get that ground level actually mapped out at the proper elevation. So this is the elevation we're supposed to be at. So I'll just place this dirt down so that I'm absolutely sure I'm not doing anything weird. Yep, whoops. That was weird. So yep, this is the elevation we're supposed to be at, and I will similarly do that just so that we've got an edge up to it. Didn't get work off for Easter, but I did get school off, so you're happy. Well, there you go. That's one thing. I guess, you know, it's like there's a good and a bad in work and public holidays and things like that. You know, you probably get some form of penalty rates and overtime depending upon your work. If you're working over the Easter or any other public holiday period. Okay, there we go. That's got our level set, I believe. So we just run that through to here. Bit of random coal there. And it's this edge of chunk right here at this level. So we'll just continue to chop that. Bit of free coal. That's nice. Right, yes, at that level. There we are. Okay, so we'll have a quick nap again. Everything now in that chunk there, we can now just begin to demolish. And then attempt to replenish. Work at a theme park, so I don't get most holidays off, sadly. That sounds fun. I'm not sure I actually know anyone that works at a theme park. I guess, if anything, that makes public holidays in places like that probably the busier time, and therefore probably not the time you're allowed to take off. Alright, let's put some of this dirt here. Yeah. On top of here. Yeah, make sure we're facing the correct direction. So this goes where we intend it to. So that's kind of got that set. Now we can just go to town and do that. There we go. That's just shaved the top layer of grass off everything. Parkour. I suppose this would be the part where we get that tree. There we go. Ah. Yeah, let's do it while we're standing on it. That's fine. Nothing dangerous is going to happen. Those balls are going to get a shock in a minute when we completely uncover them and they're able to... There they are. I was looking in the wrong place. And they can freely access each other, or whatever the issue is they currently have. I feel like one of them is one block higher or lower than the other or something, and it's meaning that they don't really have a good chance to meet. There we go. Ooh. Look how clean that is with that chunk edge. Have that one, we'll take that one there. Nice. We'll get that tree down there. But let's also just grab this grass. Oh, here we go. Did that disturb you a bit? That might have. You're not fighting each other anymore. You guys aren't going to try and go at these emus, are you? If you guys go for my emus, I'm going to have to go for you. Like, that's the thing that's happening. No worries, Addy. Gonna head out and keep painting. Wish you luck and hope you have fun. Bye. No worries. Thanks for dropping in and checking in. All the best with your painting. That's that sounds like a load of fun. Let's be careful about just what grass we start to take out now, because this will be connected to the ground soon, and I don't want to decimate the ground. We're just trying to shave the top off of this to sort of get us started. With a bit of the demolition here. Dig a pit that can live under the factory. I mean, we could put them behind glass somewhere. Painting is like real life Minecraft. I would agree with that. Lego is probably the most real life Minecraft, but painting is definitely within the same creative realms of that. Oh, yeah, we took a bit of that out now because we vein mined too close to the ground. We vein mined too close to the sun. Dear. Okay, so the next sort of thing is to undermine everything. Clear out like that bottom layer, as it were. And part of that's going to require clearing out the layer above just so I can access everything. And this is the part where actually I should be doing the other type of vein mining. Shift small tunnel. That one. That's the kind of vein mining I want to do now. That one. Yes. I thought that was a full inventory. Let's put some of this in the backpack. Dirt, 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 dirt. Okay. There we go. This sort of drill digging now. We can. That was not at all a smart way to do that. There we go. Place a block there. Okay. Yeah, so some of that's going to have to be mining. There's just no avoiding that. These bits we can do by hand. So I've been kind of thinking through the realities of what the Jaffa factory is actually going to look like. It's a little bit hard to kind of explain without waving my hands around whilst doing all this undermining here. But effectively, the short of it is, I feel the Jaffa factory needs to effectively just be a front. In the sense that it has, like, not quite like a Willy Wonka style to it, but, you know, there's like the grand entrance and there's like the showroom, and you can, like, you know, quote unquote see the Jaffas being made, as it were, but it's all a bit of a front. None of it's actually real. The real happenings of the making of the Jaffas and sort of the cruel necessities are going on behind the scenes. The thing that's kind of inspiring that for me is these cows here, these lovely moo blooms, that, you know, I don't want to have a big ugly sort of milking setup in here, and the cowpokertron that we invented over there, I feel like that needs to live in like a secret underground chamber underneath here, so there can just be a giant big like milk tub, a big like vat of milk sitting in the middle of this field that just kind of appearance wise looks like all these cows are just kind of donating their milk into this big jug in the middle, but secretly the milk is being squeezed out of a single lifeless cow underground and fed up through the ground into this big milk jug in here. And that kind of thing is going to be effectively the premise of most of the factory then. You know, when you walk in the front door and you're on that sort of entry ground level, you're going to see like little, you know, like little conveyor setups of, like, you know, production line and the product being made, as it were. But it's just all going to be like example stuff. You're just going to sort of see things that look like they could be replicating the process, but things that aren't actually doing the process. They're just there for the appearance of it, and then the real stuff is likely happening behind the scenes. Oh, you guys are actually free now. I've just spotted that. You guys are genuinely free. Okay, well, we'll check you out in a sec. You know, that sort of thing. So, like, it's going to be like, you know, you walk in the front doors, there's like a kind of like reception area at the front where you can sort of, like, I don't know, check in, get given like your little badge or whatever, your little sign-in thing, your tag to say that I'm here as a visitor on the Jaffa factory site. Can walk in, and sort of you're on the ground level, and you walk past, like, you know, I don't know, a bunch of like glass display cabinets or something that effectively showcase like elements of the product. It's like, you know, a little glass case that's got like, oh, an orange slime that, you know, will go towards making our Jaffas, or a you know, a lump of dough, or a pile of flour, or a bit of the chocolate syrup or something, whatever, you know, these kinds of things that are just sort of there to basically be a show of it. Let's have a bit of a underground nap there. And then sort of as you go through the first floor, I'm going to do it. I'm going to wave my arms around. I said I wasn't going to do this. Ooh, we can kind of see, because we're a bit under, yeah, because we're like underground technically. We're seeing the cave level now. That's kind of funny. Anyway, you know, like in this sort of section here, when you come in the entranceway, it's like reception over here, and then you're funneled back in this direction. You're heading this way, and you're sort of walking, you know, past all these show sort of cabinets on either side. You're walking this middle strip, turn the corner, and you walk this way into the narrow section here, and this leads to like the stairwell. So this will take you up, you know, as you walk this way, you'll walk up some steps, up into level 2, and then when you're up on level 2, you can turn around and come back here into level 2 proper, and there's going to be a kind of pattern like this of going up and down different levels in the Jaffa factory, and each new higher floor showcases like another, you know, sort of phase of the production design. So there'll be like the first floor might be like a floor that's kind of like faking, you know, grinding wheat into wheat flour and mixing it with water to make dough or something like, and it might genuinely do that. There might be like a tiny little sort of machine that does that on a small scale. I'm just gonna need more pickaxes. There might be like, yeah, a little bit of that genuinely happens on the small scale, but it's just on like a little enclosed loop. It's just a small cycle that just feeds into itself to keep itself running. The real like mass production of all of it is happening like tucked away somewhere secret. Like I'm kind of imagining that we're going to need like an underground sort of element to this, maybe, where there's sort of in a layer below this, you know, you've got obviously the stuff that's going on for the cows, but you've also got like some of the mechanical things happening underneath where it's like actually secretly making it all, you know, in like in the bowels of the factory or something. And that kind of thing, you know, that sort of sense, you know, you go up levels, you look at these different things, you feel like, oh yes, this is a lovely factory, but it's secretly some sort of, you know, excessively, you know, hideous nightmarescape of machinery and sort of terribly bodged together things that's all like just in a, you know, in a kind of dungeon layer beneath everything, and then just fed up to where it needs to go via computer and stuff like that. So there'll be like, you know, there'll be like the conveyor belts and things moving items around up on the upper levels, and it'll look like things are moving from here to here and becoming part of the process and stuff. But nah, it's all just for show. None of it's real. The real stuff is actually being done like, you know, deep in the dungeon, and kind of the higher levels of the factory are just like the visitor viewing area with the gift shop and things like that. So that's kind of, I think that's like the kind of the lore and the aesthetic and all that sort of stuff that I'm sort of working towards here with how this is going to look, which hopefully we can kind of get on with, because we started this in December. Like this was the Christmas project. Like it was, you know, last time we did a big thing like this. It was at the it was at like a couple of days before Christmas Day the year before, where we started up some stuff, and our big building projects and things. Well, same thing again. Now we're 3 and a bit months down the track, and we're this far through things, so we're gonna have to get a move on. But I feel like we're making good net progress in a way. I don't need to be vein mining like that anymore. I can be doing the shapeless mining again now, technically. But it'd be a fiddle to change back and forth. We'll just keep doing these little bits like this. Oh, there's a whole heap of that. I thought that was just like one block there. Okay. Can barely reach some of this high stuff up here. It's almost as though we should have just destroyed the high stuff first. And done all this lower stuff after the fact. A sensible man might have thought that through, but here we are. I feel like this is still quicker than whatever. Whoa! That was so scary. Why is my phone buzzing that loud? That was a notification and a half right on the side of the desk there. Oh, they are out. Oh, and what are they doing? They ran up and just bonked heads. You guys gonna have to be careful. Like, there's a big hole there you could easily fall into, and that is currently a working factory, including some like good gears and things. Yeah, I'm talking to you guys. Yeah, that you're at risk of walking into. So just be careful, guys. I do realize I'm completely destroying your otherwise pristine landscape, but alright, it's all in the name of progress. I'll give you guys some Jaffas when we're done. How about that? Whoa! Whoa, what was that? You just charged at me, but you didn't actually attack. You didn't do any damage. You just, like, really... Whoa! Whoa, that was an attack. Why did you do that? Are you not keen on me breaking some of these blocks? Is this like a thing? Or is it just that I'm too close to you? Or is it because I was swinging a tool and close to you, and you were like, oh, he's attacking? I'll have to rehome you guys if you're going to be a bit like that. Okay, let's be semi-smart, and let's clear these top bits first. Also, good cave up there. Hopefully nothing mean comes out of that. Okay, that seemed to work. How are we going for food? We're down to 34 golden carrots. But golden carrots are essentially infinite now, because we have essentially infinite gold, and we have almost certainly infinite carrots. We are about to lose this shovel, though. 6 more uses. Use my pickaxe on that dirt. Here we go. Let's get that one. That's actual dirt. We're down to like the awkward lumpy bits now. Oh, a bit of copper. Okay. There we go, that's a bit better. Come on, break. Nope. Let's break now. Nope. Alright. There we go. Broken now. Okay. Get ourselves another shovel. And we're going to need a replacement axe soon. We may as well do that. Careful, guys. Why did the, what are you even called? Bison. Why did the bison cross the road? That's not what I'm even trying to make. I was going to make one more of them. And then I need to make, let's say, 2 more of them. Let's throw a heap of this stuff just into the computer. Even that wheat. I mean, I don't know why I'm not just throwing all of it in. Get all this out of the backpack. Whoops. We threw our book. I don't even know what it's called. Something about dummies. No. Gadgets. Something about, yeah. Gadgets for derps. There we go. I thought it was like building gadgets for dummies. Close enough. Wait a minute. Oh yeah, we could have just been doing transfer matching, couldn't we? Yeah. It's because I can't do that in the computer, so I didn't think of doing that. Oh, there's the rain. Let's sleep as well. Get rid of that rain at the same time. Okay. Should be good to go for a bit more now. You guys are really into the head bonks, aren't you? Okay. Let's well, let's go back to the shapeless. There we go. There we go. Oh, all the way over there now. Take out that. Take out that. Now, of course, the next thing that comes to mind, once I patch the ground here with a bit of dirt. Oh, and there's like slabby steps in here for some reason. Is, as we found out when we were doing the animal enclosures just there at the entryway, we, whoa, that was a run. We also wanted to swap this layer of stone on the ground for grass. At least we did for these guys. And then we immediately dug down anyway. But, well, that's sort of not the case for the factory, because we're just building over everything. So, we're probably fine to leave this as just random hodgepodge of blocks here. Because none of this is going to be this anyway, when we're through with it. So, I'm not worried about trying to fix up the landscape. This dirt is basically just filler dirt. Just so that we've actually got a solid ground everywhere here. Because this is all going to end up getting ripped up anyway. Now, of course, there is this, which is like, you know, this is the entrance to Mimic Cave and things, which we had somewhat closed in. And I'm now proceeding to just wildly close in again. Because I can't aim the building gadget correctly. In the name of progress, that needs to get closed in, but I'm thinking that part of the basement of the Jaffa factory can have like a bit that leads into. There goes the Bonkin brothers. Lead down into here through some sort of basement, you know, area, since we're going to be going down anyway. In sort of a basement bit. So that's not so bad. We can kind of like recover that. So if we close it up for now, I might leave a torch here, but like if we just fully like facade over the top of it, yeah, it might just be okay. Like Can I? Will that let me? No, that's going to go down. No, I don't want to go down. I just want to do that. Nah, look, it's just going to be easy to just... Oh, it's because I've only got 2 blocks of dirt. Oh, of course. Because all the dirt's in the computer now. Okay, we cover this over when we've got more dirt on us. For now, that's cleared that quite nicely. Perfect. Technically, we've got to go an extra chunk deeper. So we should, I guess, think about that too. Let's get ourselves a chunk deeper. So this is where we head into here. So just so I've got a relative reference, I need to be standing on F3. I don't often do this. 92. I can see it better from, can I? From this? I mean, that shows like as a 91 when you look at it like that. I guess because when I do this is my head technically. My head's at 92. Yeah. So that's sort of what we've got to aim for. We probably want, yeah, we want like one outside of the chunk, so we've got a snug edge around things. Although that will disrupt with that. So maybe we just maybe we just stay neat to the chunk. And we just go from there. So this corner here, let's just dig that down. And that's too far already. There we go, that's 92. Okay, it's at this elevation. So let me get that that small tunnel mining out again. At that layer. That was some lag. What happened there? There we go. And at that layer. There we go. Perfect. Getting briefly distracted by that that Bannervator in chat there. Let's get rid of that. It's only taken them nearly an hour to spam things. That was a bit of lag as we tab out. Ban. Close. All right. Chop this way and carefully chop that way. Alright. And of course we're going to get into some very dark areas here now. And yes, we're going to have some problems here where we uncover caved areas. That's going to be... Ooh, that gave me a genuine shiver then. That's going to be a bit awkward and scary. Because of course I'm doing it like this. I'm doing it in the ground rather than above the ground. That's fine, that's just gravel. Oh, that's gone a long way. That's gone a very long way. Oh dear. Has that gone too far? Where are we? Yep, look at how far that went. That's gone way too far. So yeah, we're now out of the chunk. Let's just close that off. There we go. So this is the actual edge of the chunk here. Right, so it should be from here. We want to do a straight up dig. There we go. For a skylight, and we also want to do a straight that way. Shouldn't a factory have an emergency exit? I guess that's true. In what regard? Emergency exit into oh, I see. I bricked up the fire exit and the inspector said that. That's what you mean. I'm with you. I'm with you. What, an emergency exit into like the caves, I guess. Yeah, technically. That's right, there's a torch behind there. In the event of a fire, just break down that bit of stone and you're outside. Let's see. So we'll chop these and then we'll just bust these back in that direction. And of course, yeah, these are gonna break instantly. I'm gonna need 1,000,000 pickaxes to do this because there is just the world's biggest amount of stone here. Oh, and of course my jetpack's still on, which I had no idea about. And I can probably, honestly, I can probably turn that chunk border off now that I've just cleanly trimmed to that edge now. Put that book there. Up to 1.6k iron now. Let's make a ton of pickaxes. 4 of them. We'll go from there. Maybe, oh, I was gonna say maybe this is a good point to fill that in, but we literally just dropped the dirt off and therefore cannot fill this in. This is a genuine cave. That needs a little bit of light, or else I might be scared. It actually goes places. This is proper scary. It does not go anywhere. This is no longer scary. Okay, we're fine. So now it's like, surprise, nighttime. Let's have a nap out here. Out in the open. Are you two? I knew it was only a matter of time before you guys got in there. How am I supposed to get you out? Don't hit me. You're the one that went in the emu pen. Look there, you've scared them all over to that side. You guys better not attack those emus. Let me get to bed. They're my Jaffa branded Jaffa egg emus. Made with only the finest Jaffa emu eggs. It's alright, fellas. Come and stand over in this corner while I check how many eggs you've got. 105? We're gonna need to put a stack upgrade thing in there. We've got the magnet upgrade. We are gonna need one of them at some point. That is a load of eggs. Okay, may not be the worst thing in the world if you murder all of the emus. We could actually get more with all those eggs. Okay, let's mine out some of these rows in here. Wow, that goes through those picks so fast. What's the durability on these? 250 blocks. So like basically 4 stacks. Yeah, well, no wonder. Look how much stone I'm getting. And to think, we've got a machine that is making stone. And we just made that. Like we've just made like 1,000 stone. Granted, our method's more renewable. This is the definition of strip mining, so it's not the most environmentally friendly. Excuse me. And with that, we're out of picks. That was 4 pickaxes. It's also kind of dark, and I'm worried that if I leave here, things are going to spawn. So I'm sort of feeling obliged to light this up now. Now that I've done that. Okay. Let's put all this iron, and by iron I mean stone, not in the computer. Let's just dump it up here. Oh. Yeah, okay. Aha, aha. There used to be 5,000, 5,000, 3,000. Now there's 6,000, 5,000, 4,000. So the others are slowly going up. Cobble staying steady at 15.1. I thought it was 15.3. Well, here's a bunch more cobble. There you go. I have that one. I'll keep that dirt. There you go. That was 1,000 cobble we just injected into the system. Oh no, but we do actually need a pickaxe. And by a pickaxe I mean 1,000,000 of them. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and let's get a 7th one there. And I realise that is still nowhere near enough. That's like only going to clear a tiny bit of this out, and then we're going to be back there again. How are we going for food? Still got 30 of them carrots. Yeah. Yeah, I need to sever that edge a bit more cleanly up there. What's this we're picking up? Osmium. Always good to have a bit more osmium for mechanism. Nice bits of coal. What was this? Nickel. That's fair. Okay. That has cleanly disconnected all of this from everything below it. I just need to do this sort of these side trims, and so I'll just turn this back on briefly. Just trim this down and across and through everything. And where was that hole that I punched? Here. So it's that sort of a hole. So what I might actually do then, just fall down here. If I do these slices upwards, and that's left like one at the top there. Do some upward slices. Oops. Yep. That'll cut that off nicely. Okay, there we go. Oh, we're actually full. Alright, I'll just briefly chuck a bit of that in there, just so I can pick that up. Now that edge is cut, oh, except for that bit. Oh, and that dirt like way up there. There we go. I might just take this chance to fill this thing. How are we for... We've still got some pickaxes. So... we've got all this dirt on us now. So we can just put like our sort of our facade here for now. Alright, we're literally going to make ourselves a Lewis hole here. And we will just rediscover that as we need to. You know. That's just, it will be what it will be. In tens of episodes from now, future historians are gonna dig up this site and discover what was once known as the entrance to the Mimic Cave, that now only can be accessed by means of advanced waystone technologies. There's a pebble there. Okay. And I'll just put that up there for now. There you go. And if I hadn't drawn attention to it, you would never have known that there was something there. So I'll turn that back off. That's all just fully enclosed back in again now. You guys are still in there? You guys haven't caused any trouble? No? Maybe you can just live in there, I don't know. Maybe that's an okay thing. If you're not going to hurt anyone. Just slowly make our way along here and do a heap of vertical slices. Yeah, that's fine. We'll manage it. Yep, that's going to happen every time we break a tool. It's not going to go all the way up. Iron. Nice. Whoa. Okay, well again, inevitable, but scary. I am gonna hover up there and close that off. I will put a little torch in there, just so that things don't spawn right away. But there will be scary noises behind the Jaffa factory there. And we're going to pop up and take a quick nap. Ah, this lovely farm. This lovely farm that is soon to be cut through. And in fact, as I look at the line that we're cutting along, I of course can't help but notice that we're about to... Ooh, I am. That we are about to cut into water and things, so I am going to have to do this, guys, just to stop the future Jaffa factory site from becoming flooded in a moment. When the crazy water physics does its thing, and water suddenly pours down holes everywhere. Let's tidy up that. What's happened here? There's like a whole edge here that hasn't dug properly. There we go. Now just this bit. And this bit. Alright, that's better. Plomp. Okay. Oh, and like this bit. Which I can't easily do with shifting, because that involves flying. Oh, it's not shift at all, it's this other key. That key. And yes, I'm aware that that jetpack is slowly going down. We will fill it up when it becomes a problem. Oh, there's technically a little bit more cave there. Alright. That should be fine. Oh, we're full. Of course we are. Because I got a lot of random stuff on me now. Throw some cobble in here. Because we're breaking through more non-uniform blocks now. Ah, the coal. Okay. Yeah, and of course the dirt is going to be its own challenge. We can do that from above. That was a torch. Oh wait, that dirt, that's actually the top of the farm. Yeah, because there's the fence. Yeah, okay, that's fine, that's fine. That dirt's not a problem at all. Yeah, this is where all the gravel fell before. There's a log there. Oh, that's the cobble that I placed. That's the water. So that used to be the water up there. Alright, getting there. Okay. Throw some more of this in the backpack. Oh, and that edge. And I guess I should go up and just trim that. That bit that I put in. Right. And that fence post. Okay. That's a clean edge. Now we've just got this tiny little bit here. And we've only got one more pick after this one. So that's good timing. Just go across like that now. Okay. And that, if I'm not mistaken, has surgically isolated. Oops, that was the wrong button. I was meaning to do that. Yeah, surgically isolated that last line of 3 chunks there from the rest of the land. And we can now just proceed to vein mine that indiscriminately. Beautiful. Okay, and which we'll just start top down. We'll just rip that thing to pieces. I will head over, dodge that fan, carefully drop off a heap of this cobble while we're here. Nice, landed on it. Transfer matching. There is hardly any matching in our inventory. Okay, I need to empty my inventory first. I need to actually get all this other stuff out, and then we can move the cobble out of our backpack. Raw nickel. Not bad, we're down to a single pick. We'll make 1 million of them in a sec. I just want to get all of this out. In fact, I could make 1 million of them right now. Fill the inventory. There we go. Okay. How much iron have we got? Still 1.6k. We're doing fine. Go over. We'll drop all of our stone off here. Transfer, matching. Perfect. Do a quick sort. Up to 17k. There we go. Another 1,000. Throwing in cobble 1,000 at a time. Oh, there was like one in the inventory there. Don't pick up the fool's cobble on the ground there. So, what we need to do now, get up to the top here and just start decimating the top of this landscape with regular old vein mine. Shapeless. Just go to town. And anything and everything goes. Take the grass first, just because it's the easiest thing. Then we can hack into this dirt. All these like little random things like this. Mashing random buttons. These isolated bits of stone that I put in for the water. Gotta be careful not to tear into the stuff over there. That's heritage listed for the moment. Get these other bits and bobs from here. Oh, threw that axe. Yeah, picked it back up. Alright. Random bit of stone. No, it's not random. It's the start of the stone. I'll just take off this layer here to get that farmland from out of there. Okay. Sun is setting. We can now start just hacking into dirt. Well, speaking of, we will have a nap on said dirt. Looking towards the sunset. Okay. And then we just go to town on it. Hungry work, all this digging. Whoop. That's alright, we get that when we go down. Throw in dirt. Because I'm taking my fingers ever so slightly off of... That's fine. Ever so slightly off of the walking keys in order to vein mine. I have to keep putting my fingers back from WASD over to the other keys and back. And that's meaning that I'm misclicking WASD a couple of times. How much is that? Oh, it's still 27 carats. Miles of them. Don't really need to be checking it. There's that much of it. Okay. Oh no, we do need to take that grass there too. I thought that was part of the next section across. Okay. Oops. There we go. Just bumping the microphone and everything. Knocking my headset half off. There we go. Alright. Nope. Full again. Okay. There we go. That's got the dirt going. Alright, it's just like random patches of it now. And like all that other section, I guess. Oh, seeing how he's throwing dirt. You never know what I'll do next. Throw the tools, throw the dirt. Oh, went all the way down. Get some of these bits here now that were left here. This is still technically the chunk, isn't it? Yeah, it's just... This is a low-down section that we didn't sort of look to before. Oh. Yeah, it quite awkwardly goes up to here. Okay. Yeah, this is the messy section that's like half dirt, half stone. There we go. Okay. Stuff sort of everywhere, but that's fine. Of course, we're not picking most of it up. There we go. Okay, time to go empty things. Yep, we can't even pick those up. There we go. Or that. Okay, let's go just... where are we at? We're down to that last pick, so we're going to need more picks. No, we're not. Got a row of picks at the top. That's why we've got like no space, because we've got a row of picks ready for all this stone we're about to dig. Okay, let's just throw all this random gubbins into the computer. And there's dirt. Computer's going to be full of dirt, that's fine. And that cobble. What was back there? Was that a stack of cobble? Who knows? Maybe it was a stack of dirt actually. I think it was. Don't know why I need a stack of dirt there, but just to have. Okay. Nearly 10k dirt. Nice. Is there still room in the computer? Yeah, there's 5k dirt in there. So this is what's filling up with all the dirt. But that's empty. And that's empty. These corners are fine. Speaking of, so stack upgrades. Yep, I've got one. I'm just going to swing by the emus. The emu slash bisons. Now there's 155 emu eggs in there. Just do that. There you go. Look at that. Whereas now I've got 4 times the space. So there's still 155 emu eggs in there, but now they're in stacks of 32, which is incredible. Alright. So let's attempt to try and mine this down a bit. Also getting a bit sleepy. For at least a fly from in the dungeon. Okay, let's have a little nap here. Floating just above the bed. What I need, yeah, is a jetpack that will fall. There we go. So I can hop up onto things and fall. That's what I want. Just a jump extender, basically. Yeah. Instead of hover mode. That way I can also do this from underneath and then just jump up to it. Yep, like that. That's much better. Yeah. So this is what regular mode was made for. Sort of launching yourself. Leaving behind a lot of materials here. There we go, that's better. Oh, even some copper. Oh, hello. And goodbye. An Enderman must have seen that I was removing a load of blocks from the landscape and thought, I'll have a piece of that. Took his commemorative stone. Oh, we're out of picks. Look at that. And while I go over there and make a few more, I need to put a bit more gas back in the tank. This thing. Bam. And should probably charge up the free runner. Because it'll have taken a beating. And the building gadget, not there. There, for what it's worth. There you go. Copy paste gadget's full as always. How's that going? It's getting there. Give it a bit of time. We'll oh, we should put the cobble over in the other thing. Really. Yeah. Cobble belongs in the other thing. Okay, run over and put cobble in this other thing. The others are going up. 7k andesite, 6k diorite. They're going up kind of fast. That's fine. We could always upgrade them from a stacked upgrade tier 2 to tier 3. You know, double the space. That also works. Rather than fine tuning it, just put off Oblivion for twice as long. How's that going? It's done. Nice. Okay. 1,000,000 more picks. I mean, I don't want to make 1,000,000 more, but I know I'm going to need a lot. So we'll just do that. Oh, there's the Enderman. Actually, I'm not going to need that many. There's only that much. This is way more picks than I need. Hello? What are you doing in here? And what sort of block are you carrying? It's a grass block. You've made off with a block of grass. And now you're just going to happily hang around in there. Pushing your way through the moo cows. That's fine. That's fine, as long as you didn't take it from the ground. If you took it from the walls, I'm fine with that. Just don't take my ground grass. Oh, was there even gravel that fell? Eh. I'll have to fly up and get that. Oh, missed. Come on, just up a bit. Alright, whoop. And there's a bit of gravel there of all things. Stuff everywhere. Just preemptively throw a bit of it in the backpack. Nice. Well, this has actually gone quite well. I thought it was going to be way trickier to clear that volume of land. I mean, it has taken us like an hour and a half to clear both of these chunks, but that's like some of the most aggressive land clearing we'll have ever have to have done. Oops, we are out of space. Job done, I believe. We've got our nice edge to the farm there. We've got sort of an awkward edge there, and up to there. There's a little bit of the emergency exit, and we've got a nice clean edge through to here. Technically this next chunk's got to get cleared anyway, because that's the road continuing through there, so that chunk's got to get cleared too. But for now, this is the Jaffa factory chunks. So this is kind of giving us a bit of the sense of the scope of what we're doing here. So, you know, you've got your entry chunk here, your nice paths that lead up into the factory proper, step up into the factory here, you know, main entrance way. You've got your kind of foyer and everything over here, and then you've got like your whole sort of factory sort of show floor here and everything, and then kind of turns the corner a bit, and as we head into here, this takes us upstairs up to the next level. Go up some stairs here, and then we're on the next level, and we come around here and we're up on level 2, and now we've got more floors and layers of factory and things like that. So I'm surprised one of these mods doesn't make pick stack. The difficulty with it's what too far away. Oh no, now it's not night. The difficulty with stackable items with durability is that they have durability. You can do awkward things where you have this pickaxe that's got a certain durability, and you've got this pickaxe that's got full durability, but I could put this one in my hand and I could mine with it, and then I'll have two pickaxes that have two different durability levels, and Minecraft doesn't understand how that works as a stackable item then. So it's because of the additional like tags and stuff. Oh yeah, there will be a solutions to that. Like there are definitely ways that could probably be solved, but I've not really encountered a tool stackable solution to that. Like obviously there's like the auto replenish from ones in your inventory. That's a thing that is just a staple of mods. But yeah, I mean the other direction of this is you have mods where you have the only tool you'll ever need. Like you have like the special modded pickaxe that just doesn't break when it breaks. It just goes down to 0 durability and stays there, and you just repair it and things like that. And you sort of have things more in that direction, and so it doesn't quite use up any more inventory space. Yeah, exactly. Yes, a super pickaxe which lets you melt them into one with 3000 durability. Yeah, well, that's effectively what some of these will do, right? They'll have these ultra mega pickaxes that can mine for days. Right, 20,000 stone in there, so we contributed like 5,000 of that, which is kind of fun. Okay, so what we need to think about is getting some of the block pallet stuff ready, and one of the things that we're going to need, like because of how these chunks work, is this dirt path here and then the grass border. I believe that still happens to some extent. Like within these chunks here, in my kind of imagining around the Jaffa factory, I've still got dirt path within this chunk, then grass, then factory. So you still have this kind of effect of having like sort of these dirt walkways various places, like little paths, which means I am going to need to actually replace some of this with grass. And we can actually use actual grass blocks now for some of this, because we genuinely have grass now. That's a thing that we worked on last time. And I'm gonna do that again. But I'm gonna have to be careful about it. I'm gonna have to do that, then stand in there, and then do that. There we go. This way is a bit more forgiving. Oh, how far did that go? Literally all the way to the corner. Ooh. Or maybe one too far. This one. Oh no. Oh no, no, no. No, that was bad. Oh dear. Oh dear. Okay, well that's the end of that vein mining. We even took out some black concrete powder. Oh no. Where's the second one from? Over here? Oh, and we even went to here. Oh no. Oh dear, 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 dear. No, 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 no. Not having that at all. That's the very long arm of the vein mine there. Okay, well, we need grass from the computer. So, grass and or dirt. We've got some dirt. Let's see, how much grass do we actually have in the computer? Because I don't want to be standing there bucketing a million grass. We can let some of that spread. We can just use grass to sort of seed it. Yeah, we've got 53 grass blocks. Let's use it to fix some of the stuff that we ruined on that edge there. And then the rest of it can be used to sort of seed the edges a bit. So that can just be grass right now so that I can fix it. Same with this edge here. This can just be restored as grass. Okay. But we're gonna need some grass seeds at various points along here. Just to speed this along a little bit. Alright. And the rest of that can just become dirt. And of course I've got nowhere near enough dirt on me. Let's go get... Actually, I've got dirt in here. But that's still going to be nowhere near enough. But it is something. I recognize I could just be building gadgeting this. But this is potentially slightly quicker. Just because I'd have to line up the building gadget a bit. Or I can just mindlessly click this a bit more. There's less issue if I misclick with a single block than if I misclick with the building gadget. Oh. Okay, get the rest of it out. There we go. We're very close. Great, so that will, in its own time, that will just grow through. We can prepare to sort of path that along there a bit. Oh, there was a bit more there for some reason. Actually, you know what, let's just actually grass that. So we can keep that edge there going. No, no, that's not pathed. That's pathed. So this I can turn back into dirt, unfortunately, because we're within this chunk now. There we go. Take that off now. So that's our border. So that's our footprint. Yeah, so while one chunk width is going to be incredibly narrow, 2 chunks width is probably going to feel quite generous in comparison. But that's fine. That's fine. That's just what this will be. So let's start getting a bit of infrastructure in place for some of the types of blocks we're going to need. How's the egg count going? Bisons are going to be in the way. That's fine. 190. Nice. We go have a nap in our regular bed as the sun goes down. Just chuck them back in there. That's not a ridiculous number of pickaxes, that's fine. That's a crafting bench, not a bed. Have a quick hydration stop there. Okay. How's the secret bone meal factory going over here that's turning moss into bone meal? It's slowly doing its thing. So, thinking about some of the blocks that we're going to need jillions of. These ones over here hiding behind the thing you can't see. To start with, we're going to need, well, a heap of flint blocks for just the floor. That's fine. And a heap of copycat stairs so that we can trim the steps around the edges of this. That's kind of what I'm imagining here. So let's think through some of this. The copycat stairs, that's just zinc in the stone cutter. We've got them in the bag, so we just need a heap more of them. Oh yeah, we got all these blocks here too. Ah, right. Here's our flint blocks. This is the road. I guess we should probably take a lot of this out and put it into the computer, maybe. But maybe we just leave it on us as just road blocks. But yeah, we've got a bunch of flint blocks. Let me just move some of that down there. There we go. In fact, do it one better. That dirt doesn't need to be back there. Unnecessary sorting of items. There we go. All right. We can turn a heap of those into flint tiles. That's way too many. But that's fine, I think. Can I turn them back into anything? Nope, now that they're flint tiles, they're flint tiles. I cannot turn them back. That's fine. That's way more flint tiles than I needed. I need flint blocks, in fact. So that's what these are for. Get a million of them back out. Turn them back into flint. There we go. Turn them back into flint blocks. And in fact, I'm going to put all that flint back in there, because that's just mountains of it. So we've got them. As I say, we're going to need... Oh, I probably should have seen how much zinc was in there, because there won't be much zinc in the computer, will there? Yeah, there's not that much. I mean, there is a heap. But I will take like a stack of zinc from here, because there's like 500 here. Sorry. Strike that. 1,200. There are 1,200 zinc here. I'll take a stack of it. Turn that into copycat steps. Zinc. Stair. That is not enough. I need way more than that. Good thing I've got many hundreds. There we go. 3 more stacks. I've got no idea of the actual volume of blocks that the Jaffa factory will take up, so we're just going to do all this without calculating. Just sort of play by ear. I'll throw some of that in my backpack just to free up how much space I've got. We'll get it out as we need more of it. So the other thing I want is just some of this white iron wrapped loco metal. Now this is going to be fun. That is just a gratuitous amount of iron. This stuff here. So I've got to work out the chain of how to get to this. You just need ordinary loco metal that you can dye, right? This sort of stuff, just ordinary loco metal, white dye, and then white iron wrapped loco metal. So there's that. White dye, have we got a heap of this here? No. And in fact, there's a cheats way of getting white dye. It's just bone meal, but I don't know that I want to waste all my bone meal. I can haunt black dye, and black dye is charcoal, and charcoal is just cooked logs, and I have millions of logs. So technically I have millions of dye. So 64 charcoal there. Let me take 4 stacks is way too many. Let me take 2 stacks of coconut logs, because I can have 2 things on the go at once. We can be cooking them. When they're ready, we'll put the other one on. Take the first lot to be haunted. No, it'll become charcoal. Then I'll turn it into dye, and then I'll take it to be haunted. Like, there are a lot of other options here. You can just have like white flowers that you'll get white dye from, but this seems a faster and more en masse sort of method. There you go, there's 64 black dye, which we haunt. It will turn into 64 white dye. go. Turn that into dye. Go over and check on our dye. Yep, it just changed. There we go. 64 white dye, and that's about to be another 64 white dye. Which I think... Is that like 16 stacks? Yeah, like one die converts 8 of it. So a stack of dye converts 8 stacks. So 2 stacks of dye is enough to dye 16 stacks of the loco metal. You know, which is insane amounts of it. There we go. Okay, so we'll throw some of that in the computer. So we've got ourselves a heap of white dye. Oh, and I've done it again. I've dyed the crafting grid. Ah, no. Ah, dear. I need to dye it back to lime green. And now we've got 127. We've got one less than 2 stacks now. Lime. There. Make 1 lime green dye. Put it in my hands. Re-dye the computer. There. And I'm going to get 1 bone meal from here to make into 1 white dye. Don't put it in my hand. Put it in the computer. There we go. Right. So, this is like dyeing just ordinary iron-wrapped loco metal. So not the coloured stuff, the ordinary stuff. And I'll just wait for it to cycle round to the ordinary one. Now, that's it. So, iron-wrapped loco metal is just take slashed loco metal surrounding an iron ingot. Now it's iron-wrapped. 8 becomes 8. But slashed loco metal is made by stone cutting just loco metal. And I think it's this one. Riveted loco metal. That's the starting one. Start by making riveted loco metal by taking a block of iron in the stone cutter, and it becomes 8 riveted loco metal. And that is how we feed it back in. We then stone cut it again to turn it into whatever one I needed. Slashed loco metal. Then add another iron to it to make it wrapped. And then we dye it. So, we need iron, like blocks of iron. There we go. There's a stack of blocks of iron. Let's just take this to the stone cutter. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7. I might need to make more inventory space. Let's go to sleep. Let's count that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, including the spot where the iron itself lives. So maybe we're fine. Yeah, so sheet metal, iron hull, riveted loco metal. That one, please. Right. So now that we've got all this riveted loco metal, it's... Oh yeah, in the stone cutter again, obviously. That was the whole point. So, it becomes slashed, yeah, slashed loco metal. That's the one that I need. I just want ordinary one. Okay, well let me just make it slashed. Okay, so one has been slashed. There we go. And so we can dye them 8 at a time, but we want to wrap it around with iron. Okay. Yep, so it's slashed. So turn all of this into slashed. Okay. And now we're going to to surround it all by... surround an iron ingot by it. Stick it all in the computer. So take one iron ingot, surround it like that, and we've got iron wrapped loco metal, and we'll just empty all of that out of the computer, right? And now we're going to dye it with our white dye, and we have white iron wrapped loco metal. There we go. How much white dye do I have? Still a stack. There we go, because I made 8 stacks. I had enough for 16 stacks. Okay. This is fine. It's an insane amount of materials, but this is fine. So, let me attempt to place some of this down. I don't need all this long grass here. So, oh yeah, we can actually do a bit more of this now that I think of it. Look at that. Isn't that nice? Biome change. The grass is slightly different over this side. Alpine Highlands? Yeah, so this is plains over here. And then just over here we hit Biome Terralith Alpine Highlands, which is this, yeah, sort of heading up into the mountains and stuff here. Valley clearing. Yeah, that's fine. Grass can be slightly different colour there. Nothing wrong with that. So I'm going to start over in this corner where it sort of makes sense to me. And I think for the time being I have to do that because it's just breaking my brain a little bit. So we've got sort of this thing going on like this. Oh, and of course, that's the other thing. Because we have a grass border like this. Ah, dear. We need grass along here. That's not what I wanted to hear. Okay, let me put a heap of this down and then let's deal with that. Oops. Just do that for now. So that's all the copycat edge there. I'm gonna make a heap of that this. Oh, I should have had that in my offhand. That's how this works. Yeah. Yeah, I'm forgetting how the copycat blocks work. I'm supposed to have this in my offhand while I'm putting them down. Okay, so that's got me a heap of that edge there. And now, interior to all this, we've got flint blocks. This can be stone. This doesn't really matter here at this stage. What this is. And when we need to lay lots of this, we'll building gadget this. This is just sort of getting this down for now. Bunch bunch of that. Right, so yeah, like we could have like a stone edge, but I'm thinking to keep the fact that this is in a kind of pastoral setting here, we I mean, this won't be grass anymore, like, I mean, part of it will be, but there'll be stuff going on here, but yeah, I think we're gonna need that grass edge along here. Let me go get a heap of dirt once again. Oh, we've got 35 dirt on us, but we probably need to be walking around with more dirt on us for emergencies like this. Dirt. Puts just all that straight into the backpack. Dirt. Okay. Although some of it needs to be grass. No, it can pick up grass from the grass path, because not all of it's been pathed yet. Can I put that in the offhand? Do some tricky stuff here. There we go. Yep, so anywhere where there's, and look, honestly, maybe even just here. Anywhere adjacent to where there's path needs to be dirt, just as a rule of thumb. Oh, I can't pick that up. Of course I can't. Just about to do a vein mine, and as I was about to say, I'm learning my lesson with the vein mining, but at the same time I am about to do a vein mine. I'm just going to do a smart vein mine. So in order to vein mine all the way down there, I need to do that. Now I can vein mine that. Perfect. That's what we want. Missed that block somehow. And again. And, oh, I was going to say we're out of dirt, but no, we're out of that stack of dirt. Oh, offhand. Yeah, that's how this works. And yes, we've got enough grass in just bits around here where the path is still coming in. We can use that to spread the grass into this layer without needing grass blocks, because we've got nothing if not time. I mean, we don't have not nothing. We have lots of things. We are rolling in iron, for example, and dirt. And we also have time. Okay. Right. So that can spread, which means I can much more aggressively start copycat blocking various things along here. Whoop. I knew that was going to happen eventually. Also, feeling like a nap. Yeah, it's already spreading. Yeah, I can clear over that because that bit's working. Oh. Yeah, I just need to put more in the offhand. Nope, that's not how that's meant to work. It's a walking challenge. Sort of. Question is it faster to just go slow and take your time? Whoop. Given that you've got to stop and correct things. And of course, that's a bit dangerous. I'm cutting off potential grass here, but that's fine. That's gonna spread into there. That'll just take a bit longer. Ah, I did it again. Got to pay attention to when that's running out. I just said we need to pay attention to that. And I'm going to watch this edge now. That's an internal corner. Yep, that works. It looks a bit funny, but that's fine. Wow, what was that? Was that lag? Lag that meant the texture didn't get applied with it? Oh no, well it did when I broke it. The other block fell off it too. So I think that was just purely a visual bug. Okay. We still got a bunch of that left. We had just enough stairs. That was actually quite a decent guess at the quantity. Oh, there you go. Let's take those pickaxes, not pickaxes, those torches. Alright, so we can start putting up a little bit of wall as well. I can re-dye these. Yes. I can change the color, but they're still going to be iron wrapped. That's fine. That's fine. I'm going to need a bunch of iron wrapped. The other one's brass wrapped. Yep. So the floor, what the floor is going to have is a pattern with these flint tiles. So what I'd kind of experimented with was something like and it might need to be more coarse than this. This might be a bit too fine. But something like this, where every alternate block like that is flint tiles. This. So that sort of thing. That the floor looks like this. You know, that sort of an effect. It gives it a little bit of texture. Whether that's too tightly packed, given that this is a larger space now, and this will be a bit of a narrower space over there, whether that's too tightly packed, whether instead of every like 2 apart it needs to be every 4 apart. Maybe like if I did them only every 4, not every 2. Like is that now too sparse? When you're on the ground it might be. From the ground level, these are sort of isolated, like you can't easily see one from the other as much. Like it might be different when there's a lot of them. Put these ones in here. You know, yeah, like it's all sort of, you don't really notice them. You know, there's like long strips of nothing. I think I might have to do them at every second tile. Just to make it a little bit more visually busy. Sort of help break up what's going on. And so this, once we've got ourselves locked into this repeating pattern here, this can get copy-pasted with the building gadgets. Because that's going to be a nightmare to build all of that. Oh, jetpack. It's that sort of thing. I do like that a little bit better. It almost gives you like sort of bits to walk down and stuff. You sort of notice it a little bit more, which I think you're gonna want when we've got all this in here. Okay. So let us experiment with copy pasting this then. So as a repeating tile, we're going to want one more layer based on how that's looking. Rain. It's not even bedtime. We can't even sleep it off. Okay, so that's like a repeating unit. We could... Yes. We could copy paste that whole thing. So at the moment, that's a section of road that's been copy pasted that we're holding on to. Which I think we'll forget. We don't need to keep that in the memory. We can always recopy and paste another road segment as we need to. Some people that are much more frivolous with copy-paste gadgets just make a new copy-paste gadget and just keep this one remembering that tile. But I don't know that we're going to do that. I've got to work out how to use it again. Copy mode, that's it. So we've got a right click and we've got a shift right click. So right click, whoa, look at that. And shift right click. There we go, that's better. Those 128 blocks there. And so we go into paste mode and we look at our material list. Yeah, 1.5 stacks of blocks and then half a stack. So yes, 2 stacks between them. That's nice. 1.5 stacks of those and then half a stack of these. Now it's sleeping time. I'll clear this rain up too. And we've got stacks of these things. So let me attempt to paste one there. Nice. And how neatly did we make this fit? Not neatly enough. That's fine. We had sort of 2 more off there. And I can't just paste here because that's gonna go off the edge there. But that's fine. We can adapt that. So another one there. We've still got plenty. Now we're getting low. Now we need a bunch more of that, but that's fine because we have loads of flint. That's half the reason for making it out of this, because we just have ridiculous quantities of the stuff. So it's a 3-to-1 ratio. So 3 stacks of that. So 1, 2. So we need a little bit more of that to go with 3 stacks of that. But that's fine. Okay. Paste that one. Paste that one. Paste that one. Now, of course, this will be too long to go in here. We can rotate this technically. We can rotate this. There we go. And we think about it from over here now. Look at that, it's too short, of course, which we're discovering from the copy-pastingness of this. But a smarter man would re-copy paste it, but I'm just gonna work with it. We'll leave it too short. Put it in there. Oh, wait, no. Is it facing the wrong way now? Jetpack is on. It is facing the wrong way. Oh, dear. Undo? Would you look at that? Would you look at that? Oh, brilliant. Think this through now. So, I'm going to rotate it 2 more times, I believe. Yes. Yes, that works now. Okay. That works. I can't really see the other end as easily now, though. There. Okay. And of course, the next thing is, do those actually line up? You're right, hover to get a better angle. You're absolutely right. And of course I'm 1 short. Or in fact 2 short. But what I really should be doing is I should be pasting from up there anyway. Undo. Because not only have I got to get it lined up that way, I've got to get it lined up the other way. So really, I should be pasting it here. Like that. And that's not even correct. It needs to be like that. Which I could do like that. And that would also work. It's weird, but we'll do it. That's better. How are we going? Oh, we ran out of blocks. Oh, wow. Okay, so that's what happens when you paste and you don't have enough of one type of block. That's fun. Learning. Oh, what's that? Another weird... Oh, it's an auto mod thing. Let's deny that. There we go. Auto mod coming in clutch with the spam filter. Okay, so let's just turn a bunch of that back into things. So 1 stack to 3, and then like half a stack would go to 1.5, which we don't have enough of anyway. That's fine. I'll do for now, and then I'll copy more in a sec. So in theory, I can just copy paste on top of that, and that will, which should be this corner over here. And that will just fix that. Yeah, it just fills in the gaps. So we are going correctly around this corner, yes. And of course we've got to be careful now. So if I do that here, it's just going to overflow out the edge. So this is where we do it now manually for a bit. So we correct the missing bit. So what I will do, whoops, disabled the free runners, there we go, safety. Yep. So the way I'll do this is I'll use this tile and I'll put these down. Because then we can just do the building gadget, not the copy paste gadget, the building gadget to just build, and maybe this is a hover job as well. To just fill in that, like we've been filling in with dirt, we can just fill that in with the other block. Whoop, whoop. It's bound to happen. This whole section here. Make a few more of them. Wrong block. Okay, I think that's good. So they're done, and now we just need tons of flint blocks. To just fill the rest in with. There we go. Which is way more flint than I need. Presumably. Stick that back in there and that back in there. So building gadget. And before that, bedtime. Now let's sleep in the normal bed. Since we're halfway there. Have another sip of water. Oop, just got caught on the edge there. So the building gadget's currently set to fill dirt into spots. So I need to shift right click. What have I got to do? Like we're doing surface. Fuzzy connected area. That's interesting. What I got to do? Let me take all the dirt out of my inventory just so I can't accidentally do this. I got dirt in my backpack too. Let me take all my dirt out. There we go. So I can't accidentally do this. If I shift right click on this, there we go. Now it's tiles. Right. Good. Okay. So that is the rule for how that works. So now I just oops. How do I do this carefully without going out of bounds? Like that. Nice. Okay, gonna have to put a few miscellaneous ones in myself. Well, the building gadget, I'm gonna have to shrink the radius. But that will feel like that for me. There's probably again, oh, and I can hover again too, can't I? Again, get a better angle of this. It's fine over here now because this is stone it's going on, so it's not seeing the grass and trying to paste it onto there. Onto the osmium. Okay. Oh, look at that. We don't have tons of it left. Alright, and that's the floor completed for like the first floor, up subject to the bits that we're going to have to rip up and replace with other things anyway. Like that's the template of the floor established. Now we need some walls going on. So the next major tile that we need, and let's put those stairs back in here now. We can take them back out. is we're going to need some copycat walls, and we're going to start needing some of the brass stuff. Now, let's just put all this in the backpack for now, along with these things. The rest of that can go on the computer. So we're going to need some of this thing, the white brass wrapped loco metal. It's exactly the same sequence, except instead of iron surrounded by the slashed loco metal, it's a brass ingot surrounded by the slashed loco metal. We're going to need something in terms of, well, the same order of that. So this is walls, right? So you obviously need slightly less because it's one step in. A wall goes around here now. So you need the same perimeter length but minus sort of, you know, a delta X around the outside to go in one layer. And that is 1 block high, right? Now we made 8 stacks of this stuff, didn't we? Like 1 stack of iron made 8 stacks. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5 stacks. We used like 4 stacks to do that. So let's say 4 stacks, as it were, roughly, gets us 1 high. 8 stacks would get us roughly 2 high all the way around. So if we aim to make 8 stacks like before, then that's fine. We just get another stack of this. There we go. A stack of blocks of iron. So we're down to 600 iron. Like we really are tearing through the iron doing this. But again, that's kind of the point. Like we're using what we've got. So this should ultimately make us towards 8 stacks of the stuff. We've got to commence this same loop, but we need brass. So that's the difference in this sequence. This now needs to be slashed again. Right, but instead of surrounding iron with this, we're surrounding brass with this. Looking at what else you can surround it with. Oh yeah, copper is the other one. Make copper trimmed ones. Yeah, and the rest is just dyeing recipes. There we go. So brass, it's mixing together in the mixer, this old thing, zinc and copper, which is fine, because zinc and copper we have infinite of from can't even see it, behind there, from up in there, we have infinite zinc and copper. So that's okay. We're not going to have any brass in here. No. We might have some brass over here in the create chest. We do. We actually have a stack of brass here. But we're going to need lots of it. Specifically, well, 1 stack of brass goes with 8 stacks. This 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We actually need exactly 1 stack of brass. But I don't want to use up all my brass, so let's just make more of it. So it's, yeah, if I do a stack of copper and a stack of zinc, that actually gets me 2 stacks of brass, so I'll do that. Stack of copper and a stack of zinc, because again, we just have infinite of this. 1700 copper. Can't see the zinc, but it's tons of it. So stack of copper, stack of zinc, and this guy, now I know that guy's set to making tough. This guy's set to making whatever that is. I need to change you to be making, and that's a, yeah. No, it's a mixer. That's a press. Right, this is a mixing recipe. checking this out. Again. Yes. Mixing. Heat you. Okay, so it's not tough anymore now. I need to get my brass ingots. Whoa, briefly haunted. So I can set that as the recipe. So that my guy knows that's what we're making now. We're making brass now. That's the plan. So if I pop this in, right? Copper and zinc gonna make brass. I need to get you cooking though. Blaze burner, which is feed you coal, feed you sticks, feed you whatever, to make you cook. I don't remember how long you cook for based on what I give you. So we're gonna experiment. We're gonna relearn. If you were a regular furnace, 1 bit of charcoal would cook 8 items, or 1 bit of coal even. So 8 coal is all you need to cook a stack in a furnace, right? So if you're exactly as efficient as a furnace, which you won't be, you're probably better, this is plenty. So I'm going to give you 1 coal, and we're going to see what that does. Okay, that's cooking. So we'll see how much gets made, and then where you stop at, and that'll just be a point of learning. We'll try and remember that for how efficient this guy is. Doing a lot. He's doing a lot more. He's coming up on half a stack. Half a stack of stuff used. Nearly a stack of brass made. From 1 bit of coal. Question is how much material can you actually hold in there? I guess technically there's 4 stacks of stuff in there the whole time. Ah, there you go. That's it. Right. So he made 1 stack of brass ingots from 1 bit of coal. Amazing. So, yep, he can produce, well, he did a recipe 32 times. Depends what the rules are. He made that recipe 32 times, or you could say he did enough to produce 64 of an item. Whatever the rule might happen to be. So we'll put that brass back. Wait a minute. You're going, but you're not doing anything. Was it because you had a full stack of brass in there? And now you're cooking, and you'll have been cooking while nothing was happening. So this will be our next test now, to see whether or not, now that I've taken all my coal off of me, whether or not you're actually chewing up fuel while you're not in use like that. You probably were. You were probably just burning through fuel doing nothing. Yep, you're out now. You've run short. Ah, look at that. We don't have a random bit of coal in here, do we? I mean, we've got flammable things I could feed you, but wasted a bit of coal. Okay, so that's worth noting. 1 bit of coal is enough to do, 32 copies of the recipe, or you know, a stack's worth of output or something. But you were also completely full. You couldn't hold more than a stack of output. So if ever this was part of like an automated system, we'd need to be constantly drawing brass out of this, like we are with these over here, which don't have recipe filters on them. Maybe they might just not show up when I'm that far away. Yeah, there we go. Got the tough filters on them. It's a thing of beauty, this. It really is. Job done. Alright. So there's my stack of brass. So now, if we surround that by that, throw the rest of that into the computer, we can make all of that. And then, where's that dye? We have exactly enough dye to now dye all of these. Perfect. Look at that. Okay, so this rain. So this is effectively our wall. Okay. Look at this. This is our wall tile. Okay, so from the outside, you've got your nice sort of industrial factory looking. You've got your blacker highlights on the stairs around the edge. You've got the more golden highlights on the actual structure itself. However, it's going to look weird if it's just one giant big sort of golden bordered box, right? So at regular increments somewhere along here, this sort of just monotonous wall gets broken up with orange and blue highlights, stripes in the Jaffa colors, right? So in addition to all of this that's happening, we need some orange concrete and some light blue concrete, and we need to work out the spacing, because that was one of the things I didn't really do, work out exactly how far along to space these before the colors, and what sort of sequence to do them in, and things like that. Whether we have it equal, like 4, then blue, then 4, then orange, or whether we do something like 4 blue, 1 orange, 4 blue, 1 orange, like sort of spacings like that. So you get like 2 nearby stripes. Because I'm sort of looking at all this, using like the blue and the orange of like Jaffa cakes and things like that. So I guess you want like that blue-orange kind of pairing, blue on one side, orange on the other, close together, not touching maybe, not touching, but close together within a bit of a gap, and that gives you like double banding sort of at various points. So we should get some of that smooth concrete on the go to kind of set this up. Now he says that, but looking at the time, we're 11:15. That's fine. We'll get a bit of it started, but there's going to be a lot that has to happen to get this going. So in particular, we need ordinary concrete, which is just washing a bunch of concrete powder. And concrete powder is just sand and gravel with orange dye, gets the orange concrete powder. Or similarly, sand and gravel with light blue dye gets the light blue concrete powder. Now, the dyes for these are perhaps a little fiddlier. Light blue dye you can mix together white dye and blue dye and things like that. And well, white dye we've got a method for getting. Blue dye, I guess that's lapis. Lapis is just blue dye, just like charcoal is black dye. Or you got blue flowers, or blue mushrooms are just blue dye, just like the way that we were doing the other lime green mushrooms to get lime green dye. But if you're doing that, if you're doing lime green mushrooms, then rather than doing blue dye, you may as well just go straight to shimmering light blue mushrooms to become light blue dye. Just cut out the middleman. And these shimmering mushrooms are just what you get when you just dye a mushroom. So we are going to devote 2 of our hopper botany pots, just like this one's making our lime green dye. We had this one that's making all of our warped stuff, which we no longer need, but they were telegraph poles. That's doing our kelp for us. Sugarcane, flax, we don't need anywhere near the volumes of some of these things anymore. So we're going to 2,000, 2,000, 2,000 sugarcane. 2,000, 2,000, 1,000, 2,000, 2,000. We're gonna repurpose some of these flax, like maybe these 2 here. As some flowers. How do I? Yep. We're just gonna do this. There we go. That's emptied that one. Also, nighttime. This will give us a chance to get rid of this rain. Okay, that one's emptied. I'll go into the next one. Okay, so that one's got like 4,000 flax, that one's got 4,000 flax, that one's only got 2,000, that's fine. It also occurs to me that that's how I can fix this one that's got a heap of kelp in it. I can do that to take it out and put it in this one. And then just sort that inventory. There we go, and now that's actually proper for that. And there we go. Now all the kelp's in the one place. Yes. Okay, so we need regular mushroom. And we have 2 of them, amazingly. We need to get ourselves some orange dye. Just in the... no, we don't have any of anything. Yep. In the most traditional method. Just plain old orange dye is just like an orange flower, if we have one. Or red and yellow dye, which is red and yellow flowers. So... if you can spot an orange flower super quickly, like purple flowers, there. Whether or not that was faster than us physically going and getting physically oh, mystical orange flower. Is that okay? Is that what I can do? No, that's Britannia. That's no, Britannia. Yucky, yucky. Cannot turn that into... oh, wait, I can. I can turn the petals into dyes. Never mind. Phew. I was worried about that for a second there. What's that? Another auto mod thingo in the chat. Let's deny that one as well. There we go. Next question. Can we see light blue anywhere? Or even regular blue? Because, I mean, we can just make it with some lapis in the computer. Honestly, it's not that hard. There's green. If there happens to be light blue anywhere handy, like in the mountain. Is that blue? A blue flower? Might even be light blue over there. I realize not only are we encroaching right up to your territory to build a factory, but we now are also contemplating stealing your flowers. The Jaffa factory thanks you for your generosity. Cornflower. That does the job. Blue dye. Okay. Which we can make light blue dye out of. This is also just cornflower. Yeah. Yep. That's fine. Ready for it. Yeet! And that is the reason why we have free runners. And we should probably charge them. How are your eggs going, guys? 301. That is continuing to fill up. Let's just give them a quick charge up. There we go. And maybe the jetpack while we're here, in fact. So orange guy, orange shimmering mushroom from Britannia, bleh. And white dye. What about bone meal? We'll just use one bone meal to make one white dye, with the blue dye to make a light blue, with that to make this one, and we'll just toss both of them in there. Okay, and then these guys can go. Oh, wait. What do they need? Oh! Ugh. Any type of stone. Black stone, wow. Just ordinary stone? That's andesite. Will you take ordinary stone? What's that? Dark oak logs. Oh, just ordinary logs. Well, dark oak and birch. They're all speed ×1. Is there any that are faster? Maybe I should be checking that out. That was cobblestone I saw in there. That was just ×1. We're just going to use cobblestone, I reckon. No, let's do something weird. Let's use an oak log. Yeah, nothing's going to be faster. Okay, so pair of oak logs. That one. Looks weird, but they're growing on the side of an oak log. Nice. They're going to slowly make more of that for us, which will get us more dye, so that can just wait in the wings. So, ultimately, this boils down to, apart from the dye aspect, this boils down to loads of sand, loads of gravel. Okay? Which means we need to run loads and loads of cobble through the crushinator. We've got our chute, and we're dumping loads of cobble, and we've got the cobble. So just thinking it through for the numbers here. You get 8 of that. So if I had 4 stacks of sand and 4 stacks of gravel, you get 8 stacks of the concrete powder. You'd need a stack of dye as well. But then you'll get 8 stacks of that colour of concrete, which is probably way more than I would ever need. So that's fine. So 4 stacks of that, 4 stacks of that. So I need 8 stacks of cobble. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Nice. Send that through. Oh wow, that's up to like 10,000. Oh, granite's actually going down. So andesite and diorite are going up quite a lot. Granite's going down. Okay, well, let's do something about that. So, granite needs an extra rod. Andesite and diorite need 1 less. By rod, I mean shaft. Can we do this carefully? Nope, we can't do this carefully. Okay. There was definitely a way that I did that last time. There we go. So, oh dear. Getting jammed under everything. Like that. Just don't shift click. Alright. And we give 1 more to the granite. Right there. That's it. And 1 of these can go back. So that speeds the granite up and slows down the andesite and the diorite. Stick that shaft in there. Okay. So, what we need is to send all this through this chest up here. And hopefully not have this despawn. We'll just let that happen. There are complicated ways of doing things here. Like, something I did spend a little bit of time looking into was ways to, like, you know, lock a hopper and things like that, so that it waits before dropping items out. You know, and I'm not going to be sad if half this despawns, but you can do that a lot of different ways. There are very vanilla Minecrafty ways to lock a hopper. You know, you just give it a redstone signal. Once a hopper is powered, it's locked, meaning it does not drop items. It'll just hold them. And so once it loses redstone power, once it's depowered, it lets items fall through. So what you need is a way to effectively create a timer with redstone, some sort of a clock that will tick, you know, with a redstone pulse, you know, every so often, like, you know, every 30 seconds or something, sends out a single, like, tick of a redstone pulse. And you just put that then in a simple just sort of inverter setup to negate that pulse, so that the hopper is always powered, and then once every like 15 or 30 seconds it unpowers, then repowers, and in that brief moment when it unpowers, it'll drop a stack down or something, and then lock itself again, and that way you can sort of have this more gradually fed through things. And there are clever vanilla Minecraft ways to make setups that power and depower and sort of send pulses through with timing like that. But when I was looking into the Project Red stuff for these lamps, I of course discovered that they've got all sorts of like redstone components and things. You know, things like conductive plates and wired plates and bundled plates and anodes, cathodes, pointers and stuff, and you can put these together in really creative ways to make these things like OR gate, NOR gate, NOT gate, AND, NAND, XOR, XNOR, all the different gates and things in a single block, which is amazing, because I used to have to try and build these manually out of redstone in a physical setup in the world. But that's amazing to be able to have that in like a little compact tile. And in fact, they've got a couple of others, right? They've got buffer gate, multiplexer, pulse former, repeater, randomizer, RS latch, toggle latch, transparent latch, light sensor, rain sensor, timer. And a timer is exactly what we want. It sends out a redstone pulse on a clock at a specific interval of time. So I could just make one of these and just have it glued into the back of a hopper, and it will just pulse or unpulse or whatever I need it to do on a specific clock schedule, and allow it to drop items whenever I want. And that way I can put like 1,000,000 cobble up in here, and it won't just dump 1,000,000 cobble down into the gears. It'll wait and dump them when I say to. But as it is, all eight of those stacks of cobble have successfully turned into 8 stacks of gravel without any despawning. So at this level, I'm not actually that concerned. I now need to turn half of that into sand, so I should have been doing some of that while I was talking. And then we'll be set to go for this concrete. What have we got in terms of dyes? Yeah, because we need like a full stack of dye. These only these are only 1 for 1. Yeah. So you need like a full stack of these to make a full stack of that. So we're going to have way more than we need for now. But that's fine. We don't need like 8 stacks of this stuff. Oh yeah, we get bonus bits too. I forgot about that. Just grinding up the last 64 gravel. Oh, there it goes. I saw it go through. Yeah, some bonusy bits. So we'll just dump all that in the computer. There was already a bit of sand and gravel in there, but now there's 4 extra stacks of each of them. Do we at least have 8? We do have 8. 8's a nice number. Powers of 2 are nice numbers in Minecraft. So we can at least work on some of this. Okay. So we've got the powder. Now we just have to wash them both to turn them into concrete, and then masons workbench them to make them into smooth concrete. So oh, and that's the wrong way. I'm not blasting them, I'm washing them. That's fine. Come around to the washing station. There we go. So we'll wash that one. Then when it's done, we wash that one. And in the meantime, yes, it's the mason's workbench, which we got. That's that guy there. Let's turn them into their smooth variant. Whilst I go over there, I'm also going to need a bunch of copycat walls, because these need to go on copycat blocks. I'm not building directly with them. So we'll again turn a bunch of these things into walls. And that was nowhere near enough, was it? Fence? No, wall. Wall. Yeah, don't get distracted. It's not fence, it's wall. Like, that is nowhere near enough. Especially when I'm about to get 64 of these. So let's get another half a stack, and then let's get a full stack. at least match the amount of concrete I've got. Where was the wall? There it was. Okay. The orange one's done now too. Yep. So now we just make them smooth. That's it. Smooth, light blue concrete. Okay. And it looks like, it looks like it's going to tile nicely in a connected texture, and it would ordinarily, except for the fact that these are about to go onto copycat walls, and the copycat wall will stop the tiling. Unfortunately, but not necessarily unfortunately, because you'll see kind of the effect of what I'm going for here. I don't mind what it does when it stops tiling. So what we need to do, and I might have to turn a chunk back on for this, we're going to have to think through what this is going to look like with stripes and things, because we've also got to be prepared for, there is an entryway door somewhere here in the middle, which I need to be conscious of, that I think needs to be like 4 blocks wide walkway at least. So I need to at least get a little bit of this back out. So I need to at least map out the entrance here. Now if that's a straight up 16 blocks here. So if I need the middle 4, so I need to come in 6 from each end. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So those 4 are the middle 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. So if I just tear into this briefly, just so that we've got a little bit of perspective here, and since I've got 20, I'll use up all 20. So I'll make it 5 deep. So we're going to have this sort of an effect, right? We've got externally, this is like a kind of stepped edge. It just sort of ramps up to the factory wall. But when we're at the actual entrance door, within this, we've got this steps up, and we've got like a defined like sort of pathway through the floor of the factory. This will lead you in specific directions. Like this is the kind of like walk this way sort of thing. It'll kind of navigate you through the factory. So we need to allow this kind of space for door, which means like somewhere here is like, doorway mechanism, whatever. Have a nap on this bit here. So we can't go too neat to there. We'll have to like stop the wall a little bit short. But in terms of just thinking of like where the coloured bands and things are going, like we've got this sort of length to play with from here to here, which is a match for the kind of length out to here and here. Sort of. Again, it's internal versus external corner. This goes further this way. So, much like the road and the weird corner turnings of the road, this is not going to be perfect. But within this, we've got 16, take off 1, 2, 3. So we've got 13 from here to here, plus this other 6, so there's like 19 there. So if we take off 1 for that bit there, there's like 18 here. So, although, taking off 1 for 18, this is going to be odd anyway. If I do like, orange and blue with 1 gap in between them, and make sure I get this correct. Yes, it's for what it's worth. Oh, although when it stands up. but the way it looks, it's orange on the right and blue on the left. But maybe it's going to mirror about the door. Orange, blue, and on that side blue, orange. Oh, that'd be interesting. That wouldn't carry well around the building then. No, we'd have to be consistent. We'd have to be orange on the right, blue on the left always. So, if I put down some of these copycat walls, just to kind of see this through, we've got 19 blocks to play with here, as it were. The orange gap blue takes up 3. So if I try and fit 2 of them in here, 2 stripes, which I don't know that I want to fit 2 stripes, but if I did, if I had stripe, stripe, and the stripe, stripe, within the span of, say, like 19 blocks, that's going to happen 6 times. That's going to use up 6 blocks. So now I would have to take off that 1. So now 18. So take off 6 is 12. So I would need a bit, and then a bit in between them, and then another bit through there. So I'd need 4. So I need 4 blocks, which is exactly what I've got. So 4 blocks. Then I would have the orange, and then the blue. And then 4 blocks, and then the orange, and then the blue. So it's kind of weird how that's going to line up against a chunk like that. And then 4 blocks, and then that takes us to the door. So something like that. And then, so 5 now. 2, 3, 4, 5. And so we're going to have this same effect as we had over there relative to the chunk. And then 4 again. So we'll have to replicate this and just see if this is too close. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then of course this will wrap 1, 2, 3, then the corner, then 1, 2, 3. So if we did it like that, that would have the same sort of distance there. Question is that going to go nicely to the end here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Bam, 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 bam. 1, 2, 3, 4. There and there. I like what it's doing with the chunk there because that seems consistent in other ways. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the corner. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, then the corner. So along this edge here, where it's quite narrow, we've got 10 blocks, like, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is always going to look awkward because that's odd. I say no stripe on that edge, maybe. At all. Like you could have a stripe that's got a too wide gap in the middle, but I think that would be messy. Or you have 2 sets of stripes, a 3 and a 3. That uses up 6, that only leaves 4. Like 1, 2, 3, 4. Like you'd have, that'd be way too much. You'd have a stripe there and there, then you'd have another stripe here and here. That's way too close. I'd say maybe no stripe on that side. And then we carry this through on the other side. You have to line the stripes up because the stripes are visible internally. I don't have a too thick layer wall. I toyed with that. I toyed with having an external wall and then having an internal wall that was different. And I didn't settle on that really in the kind of creative test world design phase where I was trying out different variants. Maybe we'll come back afterwards and do that. Having an internal wall though does make this even thinner. which might be okay for this bit. And it would be very narrow for this bit. It would be definitely fine for here, when it's much more expansive. Now the question is what this is going to look like as it continues through here, and for that we might need to continue the stripes around the other side to meet back here. So for now that's fine. That's got a premise of that going, and as we said, it's got to be oops, it's got to be orange on the right, yeah, and blue on the left. So if I just, and I've put them all down. Yeah, I've done it again. I've put them all down without having things in my offhand. That's fine. Let me take these chunk borders off now. This will look better when it connects itself to wall around it. And of course now, right, so here's the issue now. Orange and blue, alright. Oh wow, careful guys. Orange then blue. So when we come around externally to this side also needs to be orange and blue. But this means internally, well they're already reversed internally anyway. They're orange on the left, blue on the right when you're internally anyway. And that's fine, orange on the left, blue on the right internally. They're just going to be opposite walls as you come down this narrow section here, where both are visible on both walls. You get a kind of alternating effect, which is fine. That's just the style. That's just what this is. We'll just do this little bit of wall and then we're going to call it. We've hit 3.5 hours. We're getting progressively closer to midnight. So we're just going to do this just to get a little bit of color sense to some of these walls here. And just see what the factory looks like with some really low walls on it with a little bit of the color scheme. Okay, so now we put in a ton of this stuff. We could probably go around and neaten up these paths as well. So it becomes this, all right? When they're connected, and in fact this might be the deciding bit where we say that we don't actually like this spacing arrangement after all this work that we've just done. See how we get tiles now. It's no longer a connected texture because of the copycat block. So instead of just a big orange strip up here, we actually get little orange panels now by using the copycat wall. And it sort of steps in a little bit. It's got this nice sort of step-in edge, which just breaks up the design, because you can't just have a giant flat face. It can't just be. I'm hand gesturing now. I'm literally holding up my hand, but it can't just be smooth all the way around. It's got to have like ruffles. It's got to have like bits that sort of step in and out and things like that, just to give a bit of 3D-ness and detail to the build. So the question is, are these stripes too frequent or not? And the other thing connected to that is it okay having this just one strip in between them, having them that close? I don't want them touching, I don't think. I don't want orange and blue actually touching and having a double stripe. I think I do want them ever so slightly separated, despite the even odd dilemma that it produces. But let's just and again leaving one gap there because I don't know what we're doing with the doorway just yet. right around there. Yep, so we're coming up to this corner now. And this side, which just has nothing on it, it just runs straight through. Oh, we also need to grab a thumbnail before we call it. And clearly the thumbnail has to be the foundations of the Jaffa factory. So we need to find ourselves a nice angle to hover at in a sec, so we can take the thumbnail shot. And we just do that flush up to there for now. In fact, we've gone one too far. We'll just take that off just so that we're flush to that edge. Okay, like that sort of thing. That's our premise. Okay. So if I come out here, we just stand in like the entryway section. Like that's the factory. Now that might be too frequent. Like, because the doors broke those ones up to be much further apart. Especially with the internal corner there. That might be a lot of stripe action. We might need to do every second one of those. So we have one here and one here with either side of the door. Possibly can that one then. And so if we can that one and keep that one, we sort of have to keep that one as the weird sort of short internal corner then maybe. And if we keep that, we would get rid of that one and keep that one. But then we'd get rid of that one. So this whole wall section would have one there and there. It would look a lot better if it was there and there. So if we kept those two, well then maybe we have there and there. Yeah. And yeah, don't do that in the corner. So if we had there and there, on this side, it's not long enough. We'd have to have just the one. And if you're keeping that one, you have to keep that one to keep it symmetrical about the door. We just have a long stretch there of no stripe. But that's fine. I'll just have a quick look around the outside of the path stuff. We've got a little bit of dirt there that's not quite finished spreading, but we should be basically path ready now for all of this. Oh, running slightly too fast there. Was always fine around there. Right. It's literally just these couple of bits here. Hopefully they don't get in the way of our photo for our thumbnail, and if they do... Oh, we don't have a jetpack on. Our jetpack's still charging. Or refilling, whatever. Refueling. If they do get in the way, we'll just swap them out. How much dye have we made now? Nice, another 22. Yeah, that's heaps more. But you can see, like, yeah, we've got heaps of the concrete left. We only make a stack of each. But to be fair, they only went 2 blocks high. So, this is kind of, yeah, this is the beginnings of the factory. I think that's a good thumbnail right there. Something like that. I like how the emus are all shoved around the outside edge of their pen, and even the moo blooms are doing something similar. Something like that. Somewhere in there. That's my shot for the thumbnail. There we go. Excellent. We'll investigate that next time. Sort of adjustments to the spacing of these things and play around with what they might look like. Mooblooms are avoiding an invisible predator. That's true. They know what's coming for them in the secret underground pit, and they're already hugging the edges, whereas the emus actually know what they're running from. And it's these bison that are really going to town. Whoa! I know. I just want to get in here and look at the emus. Stop it! Stop it! Just want to get in here and check on the eggs. 356. Look at that. Lovely. I know you guys want out. Maybe I'll get the bison out one day. We'll see. So, yeah. Let's stick those in the backpack. So we got a heap of that, and we got a heap of that. I reckon we call it a wrap. I'd say we've done well. Look at that. It's like, what, 2 minutes to midnight? How's the iron stocks going? We're back up to 800 iron. That's fine. That's fine. At the rate it takes us to build it, we're going to get back iron at almost a comparable rate. So that's fine. That's fine. So let's hop up on the saying goodbye section and get ready to say goodbye here. Let's stand properly. There we go. There we go. All right. So pretty decent session, I reckon. Haven't even thought to look through it on the map. Look at that. There it is on the map. You've got the nice checkerboard sort of effect of the floor there. I mean, you won't be able to see this once the roof and everything's on here. But that's the floor, the walls, you know. The copycat blocks are invisible. You know, that's the issue. Copycat blocks show up as nothing. And so we just have the walls with little gaps like that, so we sort of see the notch effect happening. So there we are. There's our footprint for the Jaffa factory. We never, yeah. Okay, so we clearly never trimmed the overhang of their bit. Yeah, because that was supposed to go right up to the house. Yeah, we just trimmed the lower level. We didn't actually take the top of the upper level. That's fine. It can overhang the Jaffa factory briefly for now. We can let that happen. Where is it? Yeah, see, of course. We went flush up to all the underneath stuff with the farm, but we never quite chopped off the... We took their flowers from them, their cornflower, but we never chopped off the very front overhang. But we don't need to until the factory gets tall enough to actually start impeding on that. And obviously we're going to have to do something about, like, you know, the fact that there is messy wall and everything behind there, and realistically that's going to be the fact that this road will continue around the back there, around the back of the factory, underneath there likely, just through a tunnel, to kind of keep that going. So we'll dress all that up in due time, but for now I'd say that's some pretty decent progress, right? It's only episode 14, and we've actually got a bit of a Jaffa factory starting to come to shape, and then as we get more of the factory sort of in place, we can start sort of looking towards more of the actual machinery steps and things required for the production of Jaffa factories, for the production of Jaffa cakes out of our ingredients that we should have in great surplus now. So with that, I'm going to say thank you everyone for tuning in. That has been another stream to be Overthunk by Sharky, and I will catch you all in the next one. Bye bye.